And we're just admiring, and that they're beautiful peacocks walking around. And then I see this peacock like chasing something, and I'm, funny Monica. I said, look, we're about to have a National Geographic moment.
Hi, and welcome to Las Patronas. Oh, there's too many things. Well, first of all, you're my forever roomie. I love everything about her. Monica is actually one of the sweetest, most genuine, kindest souls that you will ever encounter. Like, Monica has not a mean hair on her body. And when I say that, I truly mean that. And she's hilarious. I always know that she will make me smile. No, she will make me crack up at any given moment, especially when I need it. That's what I love most about Monica.
Well, Marianne took us to this beautiful, I wouldn't say abandoned, it's just not as popular, I think, as it once was.
Like I said, not a bad bone on her, bad hair on her body.
But she kept telling us about it, and we went, and it had a beautiful overlook, like this big balcony that you could probably host a party on. It was beautiful, and we're just admiring, and that they're beautiful peacocks walking around. And then I see this peacock like chasing something, and I'm, funny Monica. I said, look, we're about to have a National Geographic moment. Unbeknownst to me, the dragonfly that it was chasing came toward me, went up my skirt, and almost the peacock as well. Anyway, we just couldn't stop laughing. It was
No, you're not telling the whole story, Monica.
That's my version. That's Monica's version.
What really happened was Monica being nosy and wanting to figure out what the peacock was following, which was a little dragonfly. The dragonfly goes up her skirt, and Jelly and I, Angelica and I, are looking at her like, what is she doing? Next thing you know, she comes running towards us. The peacock is running towards her. Now we're running away, and the whole time, we're middle-aged women. We don't have, we have bladder issues. So I'm running, laughing, having to pee at the same time as the peacock's trying to attack her, and she's trying to include us in her attack. So yeah.
It was
She left all that out.
It was so funny.
Yes.
So I have two kids, Anthony and Gabriella. Actually, Gabriella came first, and then Anthony. But they're amazing. And, it's just something that they're grown now. And it's a weird time in my life, because you spend so much time in those early years, raising your kids. And then you never stop parenting. Like, I want to try and teach them everything I know up until this point. But it's different, like when they don't need you as much, and it's kind of a shock to the system. And so, now I'm still learning and growing, but they're their own people now, and they're learning and growing, but they're amazing. I love my kids so much. They make me laugh. We have so much fun together. Anthony is very, I see a lot of myself in him. He loved theater, just like I was in theater in school. He's funny, but I always tried to teach him, like, if you're being funny at someone's expense, it's not funny. So I tried to teach him that from a young age, but still today, I have to tell him, like, Anthony, keep it in check. And then Gabriella, she's such a sweet soul. She helps me with my nonprofit, and she's an amazing person. She's been through a lot in her very short life. And she deals with a chronic illness, and she does it like a boss. She's an amazing person, and I love them both so very, very much.
So I've got 3 kids, beautiful kids, right? Every mom says that. My oldest, Kimberly, she is probably more mature than I am, actually. She actually is a very, how can I say, she's a very old soul in the sense that she shared a lot of moments with me from growing up to now. Like, it was like she was my little best friend, and now she's 21, and she's very nurturing and she's very caring, which kind of, leads her in what she's studying to be a teacher. She wants to work with children. But Kimberly is, like I said, she's an old soul, and she actually gives me peace in my very chaotic world. I've got my güerito, my middle child. He's very much the middle child. Very much. I love him. I love him. But the world revolves around that child. The world is against him. And actually, we're all with him, But he's very talented. He has that very entrepreneur type of mentality. In middle school, he's like, he came with the whole game plan to me. He's like, Mom, I need to borrow $50. I'm like, what do you need $50 for? Mom, we're going to go to Sam's. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of candy bars and I'm going to sell them. And with the profits, I'm going to pay it back and I'm going to buy more. And I'm like, wow, okay, let's do it. And then he started flipping tennis shoes. And then because he realized that, he can buy a pair of sneakers for a very, cheap rate and then flip them and make more. And he's then became a barber, so like at 14 he was already cutting hair. And so I mean, that kid, when it comes to like business and just that entrepreneurships, like he's very smart in that sense. My baby Joey, oh God, that kid is hilarious. This is when I knew he was going to be a character. He's 13. When I found out I was pregnant with him, we did, those 3D ultrasounds. And in the ultrasound, I have a picture of his little butt like this with his hands crossed behind his head and his little feet like this. I knew at that moment he was going to be a character. And he is, actually. He's hilarious, but he's really, really smart. So I feel like he has a little bit of all of us, except his adolescent years are a little different than his brother and sister because his dad and I co-parent. And so he essentially has two families. He has his family with his dad and then he's got his family with us. And so it's very unorthodox, but he has a whole team of people that love him and we're all here for him. And his whole world revolves around sports, basketball, football, baseball, robotics. Like, he's just very engaged and I'm very grateful. And my kids are loved. Right now the older two have, they're young adults and they're finding their way through life. And Joey is lucky that he has his older siblings, myself and, his dad. And we're all here trying to, guide him in this journey that's, teenage years. So yeah, no. The answer to that question is no. I did not picture my life to be what it is right now. It's actually something I struggle with. Mm-hmm. Because as a very first generation Mexican American, at my age, I was supposed to be married, have a successful career and have a home and a white picket fence and my kids off to college. But my life isn't very traditional in that sense. I feel like when it comes to my career and the things that I can control, I got a grasp of that. But when it comes to my personal life, it's all over the place. So no, to answer your question, my life is not what I envisioned it to be at this age.
No, it's a sham. No. That's something, when you're a kid, I was like, I'm going to be an actress. Like, that was it, right? I practiced receiving the Academy Award. Like, that was just, but then when people start filling you with doubt, the seeds of doubt, and you need something to fall back on, and it changes, right? And I just celebrated 29 years of marriage, and that's wonderful, but I don't think I have found my purpose in life. Well, I have a nonprofit and I get a lot of fulfillment from that, but I'm still searching. I'm still searching for, why am I getting so emotional? I'm still searching for that. Like when we did that talk at the Body and Soul, I feel like I'm getting there. But yes, because, motherhood takes up such a big part of your life when they're babies, and it really fills you, or it filled me at the time. But, when that was over and you're sitting in the silence of what's next, it's a little scary. But I met these two wonderful ladies, Angelica and Mary Ann, and they're starting to fill that. They keep me on my toes. They keep me accountable. They, ask me things that no one really has asked me about myself. And so those relationships, that you have, with your girlfriends, really matter. So I have found them, and I'm enjoying my time with them, and I look forward to all of our adventures. We've had a lot in a very short period of time. But yes, I'm still searching. I would say that I'm still looking for my purpose. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Take risks. Take risk, and do it. If you're going to do something, do it with all of your heart. And it's okay to make mistakes. Mistake is not a bad word. It's okay. That's how you learn. And go for it. Full on. That's what I would tell her.
Oh my God. You know what I would do? I would just shake her and tell her to stop. Stop trying to grow up. I graduated early from high school because in my heart, I knew I wanted to help people and I wanted to get out there and start living life. But no, I would have not graduated early. I would have stayed in high school, in a traditional high school, and enjoyed all of those traditional moments that high school kids get to enjoy, and not try to hurry up and live life. I would have, probably gone to, HSPVA, which is where I got accepted. But my mom, because she came here undocumented. And so at that time, there was fear, right? There was fear. And again, being first gen Mexican American, there was a lot of just play it safe kind of, not take the risk, like Monica said, And if I knew then what I know now, I would have slowed it down and just taken those risks and just gone full throttle. And again, mistakes are not bad mistakes, but we didn't have that guidance back then. That's why the work that we do now is so important.
I love you.
I love you, Moni.